Islam motivate you a bit more than most, like any other champ?
I'm motivated, I'm self-motivated, and I for sure want to crack at that belt. I for sure want to crack at that 70-pound belt to go for the Triple Crown.
You'd either fight Conor in the octagon or his team versus your team.
Team versus team. It's gonna be more interesting because already Khabib beat him in the cage, beat his corner, beat his team, all team again. It's gonna be fine.
Conor McGregor has sent shockwaves through the MMA world by announcing that he wants to challenge Islam Makhachev for the 170-pound title in his highly anticipated return. The matchup instantly creates massive hype, not just because of McGregor's star power, but also due to the lingering shadow of his legendary rivalry with Khabib Nurmagomedov. McGregor calls it a good scrap and emphasizes his desire to chase the Triple Crown, aiming to claim another title in a different division. The intrigue is undeniable. A fighter who once battled one of the most dominant grapplers in MMA history is now eyeing Islam Khabib's protege for the next big test.
Does Islam motivate you a bit more than most, like any other champ?
I'm motivated, I'm self-motivated, and I for sure want to crack at that belt. I for sure want to crack at that 70-pound belt to go for the Triple Crown.
And what a fight that would be, you and Islam. That'd be crazy, wouldn't it, after all these years?
Good fight. Good scrap. Southpaw. It was a good performance out of him, and fair play to him. He had the courage to do it, to go up. So yeah, I'm excited for it. Let's see what happens. Let's get back in the mix.
Islam Makhachev has made it clear that he holds the same kind of animosity toward Conor McGregor that Khabib Nurmagomedov did. The Dagestani champion recently expressed doubt that McGregor will ever step back into the octagon, emphasizing that the Irishman isn't even welcome in Dagestan. Makhachev's comments add another layer of tension to any potential matchup.
Do you think he ever fights again?
McGregor? No, I don't think. Too much drunk, too much marijuana.
What if he came to Dagestan and you trained him? Could you get him right?
Who?
McGregor.
That guy's not stepping foot in Dagestan.
He's not going
Not
there.
allowed.
Could you guys fix him?
No.
Too far, too gone?
He's never gonna come to Dagestan, and we're not friends. We don't want he come.
On the other hand, Islam Makhachev is also looking for an opponent, and the other contenders in the division are currently busy in proving who is the most deserving one. Kamaru Usman is looking a top choice because Islam also expressed interest in fighting him. However, the other fighters doesn't agree with him. Ian Gary also rejects the idea of Islam fighting Kamaru Usman, calling him irrelevant. He points out Usman has only one win since 2021 and doesn't deserve a title shot, calling any discussion of him in contention bollocks.
I will scream and shout and fight anyone in the world. That fight's not happening. Kamaru Usman is irrelevant. He's had one win since 2021. He's the last one down the list who deserves a title shot. The fact that we're even mentioning his name amongst this title contention is bollocks. He's nowhere near the top. He had one win over a guy who's had nearly double digits lost in the UFC and Joaquin Buckley.
Meanwhile, Kamaru Usman thinks Carlos Prates has earned the next title opportunity after he gets his own shot. He points to Prates' attitude, the hunger to compete, the excitement to fight, and the willingness to come right back even after a loss. Usman feels that's exactly the type of mindset the UFC values. He adds that Prates has accomplished a lot in a short time, even if the impact hasn't fully reached the global fan base yet. He also gives credit to Michael Morales, saying both rising contenders have been impressive, but Prates stands out the most to him right now.
I would say right now, for me, I would say Prates. I still think maybe another fight to really kind of, I feel like he's done so much in such a short time. There wasn't enough to let that ripple effect really touch the masses all over the world. But I would say Carlos Prates right now. I like everything I'm seeing from him. His willingness, his excitement to go out there and compete and fight. Even if he loses, it's like, okay, I have to fix that and I'll come back. Like, that's what I love to see. And I think that's what Dana and the company and Hunter and these guys love, is these guys like that. So I love Prates. Morales too is also impressive. You know, no hate on these guys. I love what these guys are doing.
However, Carlos Prates calls Kamaru Usman the welterweight GOAT, but still doesn't feel Usman should be next in line for the title. He acknowledges Usman held the belt for years and understands the UFC might consider him, especially since Usman and Bilal share the same manager. But he points out that Usman is currently ranked 9th, and despite his respect for him, Prates admits he'd be disappointed to see Usman get the shot because he believes he has earned that opportunity himself.
I don't know. Kamaru won the fight for the belt, you know. Also, Kamaru and Makhachev, they have the same manager. So let's see how it's gonna work. But also, he's number 9 on the rank. But also, he's the GOAT of the welterweight division. So
Nah, come on. Wait, first of all, he ain't no GOAT of the welter. What? Have you heard of a guy named George St. Pierre?
I know that guy, but I prefer Kamaru.
Nah, come on, Carlo. I like you, Carlo. It would be okay if Kamaru gets the title shot against Islam next.
Of course, no. I would be sad because I won the title shot against.
Yeah. Do you think he is deserving, though? As you say, he's the GOAT. In your opinion, do you think he is deserving?
No, I don't think he's deserved, but also, like I said, he's the GOAT. For me, he's the GOAT.
Ariel Helwani argues that Ian Machado Gary has clearly outperformed Kamaru Usman in recent years. He points out that Gary has been far more active and valuable to the UFC, fighting 3 times in the last year alone, taking a short notice matchup against Shavkat, stepping in on short notice to beat Carlos Prates in a main event, and then defeating former champion Bilal Muhammad. In Ariel's view, Gary's activity and high-level wins make him the obvious pick over Usman for any title shot discussion.
This is a great quote. This is a great quote here. What the fuck has Ian Gary done the last couple of years? Kamaru Usman is a legend. He was offered Shavkat last November. Who ended up fighting Shavkat last December?
Ian Gary.
Kamaru accepted the fight. Okay, well, Kamaru Usman is one of the biggest names in the division. When you're Islam Makhachev, you want to have legacy on your name. So he's trying to paint the picture as to why Kamaru deserves this fight. Kamaru Usman, as we said, has 1 win in the last 4 years, right? He had a 3-fight losing streak, and prior to this fight, he had not won a fight since 2021. Ian Gary, in the last year, has fought 3 times, including against Shavkat, short notice fight, short notice main event against Carlos Prates, beat him, and then beats the former champion Bilal Muhammad. He has done more in the past year and has won more in the past year and has helped out the UFC more in the past year than Kamaru Usman has in the last 4 years. So what the F has Ian Gary done is a crazy, crazy comment. Again, I have no problem with him campaigning for his guy, but like, we have to also look at it, honestly and critically as well and say this is nonsense.
Meanwhile, Ali Abdelaziz reveals that the UFC explored Islam Makhachev facing either Kamaru Usman or Ian Machado Gary for the promotion's debut event on Paramount at UFC 324. He explains that the UFC reached out about a main event slot on January 26th, and Islam briefly considered it before deciding against a quick turnaround. Abdelaziz mentions that both Usman and Gary were seriously discussed as potential opponents during that period, noting that the UFC always looks for the biggest possible matchup when planning major cards.
Whoever it ends up being challenging Islam for this belt first, when ideally do you think Islam fights again?
Well, Islam just fight, honestly. Even the UFC reached out to me. They was asking him to fight a main event June 27. He thought about it, honestly.
Is that the White House card?
No. January 28. He thought about it. He's like, no, and Khabib said, hey.
Who is that against?
Like, honestly, Kamaru's name was in the mix. I can tell you that. Kamaru's name was in the mix for January 28th. Honestly, Ian Gary's name is in the mix too. But at the end of the day, man, the UFC is a business. They're going to make the biggest fight they can make.
Sean Brady considers Kamaru Usman the least deserving contender for the title. He criticizes the UFC's push to give Usman a shot, noting their mutual friendship and shared manager. Brady feels it's unfair and points to Brandon Moreno as the most deserving, highlighting Moreno's undefeated 19-0 record and recent win over him while holding the #1 contender spot.
But yeah, like for me, when I look at it, I'm like, there's no way Ian gets it next. I don't think so. Well, first of all, the least deserving of it is Kamaru Usman. Brother, like, I don't know how they're finagling this shit, like trying to push him into the cahoots. Huh?
Between him and Islam?
Yeah,
like
for
mutual
sure,
friendship.
for
Like
sure.
let's get
mutual
you paid.
friendship, same manager. Like I understand what they're trying to do, but that's bullshit.
Yeah.
I personally, obviously, he beat me. I think Morales is the most deserving out of everybody.
He's
Like,
undefeated.
Undefeated, 19-0, just beat me. I was the #1 contender. Beats me. Number 2 would be, I think Prates is right there. I think he would deserve it more. Shavkat doesn't deserve a title shot.
He got to get back in the race.
He's got to get back in the race. Everyone else, everybody else got to be in the something like that. Everyone's got to be in the race. He's just sitting on the sideline.
On the other hand, Paddy Pimblett and Justin Gaethje are all set to fight for the interim title in the absence of Ilia Topuria at UFC 324. The winner will fight for the undisputed title, but the fan believes Arman Tsarukyan has been robbed here despite being the #1 contender. Justin Gaethje also feels sympathy for Arman Tsarukyan missing out on the title shot. He calls Arman a problem in a positive sense and acknowledges that while the situation is tough, Arman will eventually get his opportunity.
What do you think about the whole Tsarukyan situation with him being on the outside right now? What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, I mean, sucks to be him, honestly.
Leave it at that.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, no, hey, the kid is a problem. There's no doubt about it. This is a crazy game, and he's going to get his chance. So, see what happens.
On the contrary, talking about the interim fight, Tony Ferguson picks Paddy Pimblett to beat Justin Gaethje, explaining that he leans toward Paddy mainly because he feels Gaethje has lost interest in chasing another interim belt. He admits Paddy is beatable, and Gaethje is too, but believes the emotional side plays a big role. From Ferguson's perspective, Gaethje has long been frustrated about never getting a real title shot, and that lingering disappointment might affect him heading into this matchup.
They're for the interim belt. Who do you think wins that fight?
Paddy. Only because Justin doesn't want another interim belt. That fucker, I mean, like, that's just it. You could tell, like, as soon as, like, when we were fighting, like, I prepared for a different guy. Like, I'd be real. And it was like, I want to go in there and, like, just, that's not about me anyways. We'll talk about Gaethje and Paddy. Paddy's not bad, dude. Paddy's not bad. He's very beatable, and Gaethje's very beatable as well. But when it goes into the passion and how upsetting Justin Gaethje has always been about not getting that real title shot, and they just keep dangling it right there again.
Tony Ferguson believes Paddy Pimblett has the fresher mindset going into the matchup. In his view, Paddy enters with the hunger of someone chasing his first major opportunity, while Justin Gaethje carries the weight of past title frustrations. Ferguson feels that edge and enthusiasm favors the younger contender. If he had to place a bet, he would lean toward Paddy, describing him as the fighter stepping into a new moment rather than the veteran who once threw a belt aside and dealt with the backlash. Even so, he wishes both men the best heading into the fight.
I mean, shit. Paddy's in for a new treat, right? Paddy's the one that's never fought for a belt. He's going in there. He's going to be trying to, get that stuff. He's going to feel a little bit more fresher. He's going to have that little bit of excitedness, in my opinion. So if I was going to the book and I was going to try to place the bet, I mean, shit, I would go with the new kid that's going in there and that's going in there for the new opportunity rather than the old kid that fought for the belt, disrespected it, threw it on the fucking ground, didn't give a shit for it. In my mentality, that's how he's going to be again. It's going to go for Paddy, in my opinion. So best of luck for both of them out and knock each other the fuck out.
Sean O'Malley fully supports the UFC's choice to headline Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett instead of Kayla Harrison versus Amanda Nunes. He argues there's really no debate, saying that if fans were allowed to watch only one of those fights, the global audience would overwhelmingly pick Gaethje versus Pimblett.
I mean, I just really don't feel like there's an argument there.
What do you mean?
Gaethje versus Paddy. Okay,
Yeah.
If you had only watched one of those fights, and you ask America, you ask the world, you only get to watch one.
Yeah.
January 24th, you only get to watch one. Who do you guys want to watch? Be honest.
Sean O'Malley also reacts to Ilia Topuria's divorce rumors, expressing sympathy. He says it's tough to go through such personal issues in public, and even harder to focus on a fight camp, especially with kids involved. O'Malley adds that he genuinely feels bad for Topuria.
The Ilya stuff, you guys see that? Going through a divorce, wife supposedly trying to take 50%. God, dude. I feel so, that sucks. And it's all public, which makes it even just fucking worse.
I've seen a lot of shit on
Cause I've been through some shit. I didn't have to deal, it wasn't on the public, got to the other side, everything's good, but when you're going through that type of shit, You definitely don't want to be in fight camp.
Is that why he pulled out, or just...
That's why I didn't book a fight. He said he's going through his personal. It's all public, and I guess he was supposedly messaging girls, which is like, you can't say how's on.
I know, right?
Dude, no. Like, you can't be nice to the other species when you're married. I just don't understand. Yeah, no, that sucks. So I do genuinely feel bad for him, and yeah, I mean, all that show. Oh, he's got 2 kids. It's like when you add kids to the mix, that's what makes it. That's really what makes it just so hard to deal with. It's unfortunate for him, but yeah, because I really want to see Ely versus Patty. That was the fight I wanted to see. Ely versus Islam is the fight I want to see next. Ely versus Patty. We don't get it. That's okay. It's okay.
On the other hand, Arman Tsarukyan felt Paddy Pimblett earned a title shot because of star power rather than accomplishments. In his view, Paddy's fan base, marketability, and the UFC's promotional interest played a bigger part than his actual resume, making the matchup more of a business move than a merit-based decision.
It's the same. He has like a followers or whatever, or his country is big, or I don't know, UFC likes him so much, or he's selling, or what he's doing, I don't know. So he got his title fight because of that.
Yeah.
Arman Tsarukyan strongly criticized Paddy Pimblett, expressing that he has no respect for him. He said he can't stand Paddy and wishes someone else were facing Gaethje. Arman added that he doesn't even want to attend the event, joking that if he saw Paddy in person, he might give him a real slap to show him the kind of strike he thinks he deserves.
There's a saying that like, don't hate the player, hate the game, but you hold it personally against Paddy Pimblett.
Yeah, I hate just Paddy. I hate Paddy.
Yeah.
I wish it was Oliveira fighting with Gage or someone different, but not Paddy. I hate that guy.
Will you be at the fight? I imagine you'll go to January 24th, yeah? You think you'll be there?
I don't want to be there because I'm going to fight with somebody there. Because if I see Paddy, I would like to slap him. Not slap like slapping Ilya, but real Armenian slap. Maybe this is Spanish slap, like when they put on the neck, that's the slap. I'll show him like a real slap.
Meanwhile, Renato Moicano was also surprised that Paddy Pimblett got a title shot without beating any top 15 fighters. He described it as unfair, pointing out that Pimblett's recent wins were against opponents with multiple losses, such as Michael Chandler and Bobby Green, and questioned how that justified a title opportunity.
What do you think of everything that happened? Who's getting the title shots or whatnot?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't feel that's fair, you know. But we live in a world that is not fair, you know. Giving a title to Paddy Pimblett, a title shot is unbelievable.
Someone that's easy money. Bro.
Easy fucking money. And let me tell you something, brother. Who he beat on the division? Michael Chandler coming off 5 losses. Tony Ferguson, 8 losses. Bobby Green coming off 3 losses. And who he beat on the top 15? Nobody. And he's still getting the title.
Renato Moicano feels Arman Tsarukyan missing his bout with Islam Makhachev stalled the lightweight division. He says the division could have moved forward if that fight had happened, but now, with Ilia Topuria unavailable due to personal reasons, the Gaethje versus Pimblett interim title fight seems pointless. Moicano labels it a paper champ scenario, questioning why an interim belt is needed when Topuria should be the rightful champion.
This is Arman fault, this is Topuria fault, this is, you know, when I fought Makhachev, Arman was supposed to fight for the title and he fucked up the division. That's the truth, you know.
Yeah.
If he had fought that night, the division would keep going. But now we have Topuria going through divorce or something like that. He doesn't want to fight. But it is what it is. They have Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett. To me, this is going to be the paper champ. That, you know, that's not a undisputed champ. And doesn't make any sense to do this interim belt because Topuria will be the champion anyways.
Yeah.
So whoever gets the belt now have to face Topuria for the unification of the belt. So to me personally, doesn't make any sense. The fight should be #1 contender. But why UFC did that? Because they solve a lot of problems with that. Because Justin Gaethje was saying if he didn't get the title shot, he would retire.
Ariel Helwani also criticized the Gaethje versus Pimblett interim title fight, questioning why top contender Arman Tsarukyan is being bypassed. He called the matchup makeshift, comparing it to a BMF-style fight, and noted an interim belt isn't needed since Ilia Topuria already holds the championship. Helwani argued the UFC should have waited to schedule a proper #1 contender bout, and questioned what Tsarukyan must do to earn his shot.
The #1 contender at 155 pounds is a guy named Arman Tsarukyan. and he's not involved in this fight. This is a makeshift fight. This is as prestigious as a BMF title. God bless. I said I wanted to see Paddy fight for the belt. God bless. But this is a bogus fight, and it's insane to me that it is headlining over Kayla Harrison versus Amanda Nunes. On paper, Paddy versus Justin is a fine fight to determine the #1 contender to fight Ilya and or Arman. Ilya won that belt back in June. I don't even think you need an interim title fight. Honestly, it should have been the co-main event, 5-round #1 contender fight, Ilya versus Arman, second half of the year. What's the problem with that? And now what you just said, because he reiterated this in the Instagram Live, the winner of this fight is going to fight Ilya. What happens to Arman? Arman's going to have to fight who? What is going on? What does Arman Tsarukyan have to do to get a shot at the belt now?
Ariel Helwani believes that Arman Tsarukyan earned a title shot by waiting patiently, working hard, and then finishing Dan Hooker decisively on the ground. Despite this, he's now sidelined and not next in line. Helwani criticized putting Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett in an interim title fight with the winner facing Ilia Topuria, calling it a ridiculous choice and expressing surprise that such a matchup is headlining a major card.
I know he had the fight back in January. He got hurt. Sue the guy. He sat patiently. He went out there. He steamrolled right through Dan Hooker. He did exactly what he had to do. He did what Khamzat and Islam did not do. He finished his opponent on the ground in dominant, impressive fashion. And now what is he? Now he's just floating in the wind. And he's not even next, apparently. Now, of course, everything could change. Nothing really means anything. They make up the rules as they go along. But to put Justin and Paddy in the interim title slot and then have the winner of that fight Ilya is insane to me. And worse than that, because we have seen interim title fights that have felt a little fugazi. I cannot believe that they are headlining this card with that fight.
So that's all we have from today's video, and hopefully you enjoyed it. Share your thoughts in the comment section and subscribe to our channel to get more updates about UFC.